Introducing now in the red corner, 25 years old, 6 foot even, 265 pounds, from Gainesville, Georgia, fighting out of Megalodon Gym. Amateur record, 5 wins, 1 loss. This is his first pro fight. Red corner, Barrett. His opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, 26 years of age, at a height of 6'3", 265 pounds, from Statesville, North Carolina, fighting for champion Muay Thai, with a pro record of 1 win, 2 losses, blue corner's own, Mora. And thanks to Hooters, one of our sponsors tonight, and our ring card girls, welcome to round 1 of the 8th fight of the night. Your referee, Mr. Blake Rice.
Welcome, fight fans, back to Wild Bill's Fight Night. I'm Kyle Maynard, sitting here with Kevin Gittemeyer, and we're about to get this first heavyweight pro fight underway.
Yeah, this should be an exciting fight. Now, Will Mora, we've seen him fight plenty of times, and he gives an exciting fight every time. He comes, he trades punches, he bangs, so this should be interesting.
Yeah, Will Mora is definitely a guy with knockout power, and I guarantee Scott Barrett's going to be looking to take this fight to the ground. Big elevation on that slam.
Now, I understand Scott's a good wrestler, he's good with takedowns, and he likes big slams.
He's immediately gone to pass the guard off that triangle attempt by Mora. Mora trying to keep the knee up to go for mount.
Now this is pro, so they can do a lot of damage with elbows and knees here.
And at 265 pounds, throwing an elbow into the face, or working the Kimura right here.
Yeah,
the Americana jet.
He's looked like he's, you know, exploring an armbar here, but happy to take punches and elbows.
Barrett coming into his first pro fight is definitely not unexperienced. The guy's got collegiate wrestling experience and background. He's very well versed on the ground. He definitely doesn't want to keep this fight standing, but he's going to be looking to finish it quick, laying down some heavy shots. Moore's doing a good job of covering up and minimizing the damage he's taken.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult in this weight class, but he's doing a pretty good job. But he's got to find a way out. He's got to find a way out quick.
I think the experience factor here is going to be a problem if this fight goes into deep waters for Barrett. Not saying that his conditioning's not up there, but he's coming out here like an animal. You got to wonder if he can keep this pace for a full 15 minutes.
Yeah. Those are powerful. Just with the weight and the force, those little short elbows are powerful.
He is raining those short elbows down. He's trying to work the elbow up. Kind of wonder if he's working towards an arm triangle or if he's just going to be satisfied here with the ground and pound.
I tell you what, he keeps landing those elbows, though. That alone may take the fight.
Mora's a guy that's been in a lot of fights before, taking some punishment from this position. He's eating some heavy right hands into his jaw. This fight might not last much longer. Blake Rice is warning Mora here in the bottom. If he doesn't do anything, this fight's going to be over.
Mora is fighting back and striking back, but he's got to find a way out.
Yeah, you know it. I mean, you know, fighting back and trying to strike from the mount there, you're really.
I tell you what, he might have to get clever here and start wiggling his way under those ropes.
It's going to be tough for him, pressed up against the ropes right here to be able to work something. Got to try something, whether it's an Upa escape to get up out of here, but with a guy, you know, as powerful and as strong as Barrett and as, you know, just short and stocky, it's going to be tough to get him off.
Yeah, he's a big guy. If you notice here, we got the 5-rope ring also. That makes a big difference now. With just 4 ropes, a lot of times that bottom guy would have found a way to get out. Now Blake did an excellent job pulling him in. This is tough for Will, though. It's going to be tough for Mora, but
yeah, starting back from that mount position. Man, you still see Barrett has no signs of slowing down. He's still landing some heavy shots onto Mora. Mora's been in this position before, but he's been able to coast it out in his most recent fight at Wild Bills. But
yeah, like you said,
reverse position here. We'll see what Scott Barrett's got off of his back in this half guard.
Now Barrett's tying him up really tight. Good job. Good underhook, good escape.
Good escape. He's going to knees and hands. Right here, he's going to try to work. Oh. Good takedown.
Excellent.
Great takedown.
Wrestling sit out. He's going to try an arm lock here, key lock. He might get this. These are big enough, strong enough guys to finish moves like this. Most of your smaller guys aren't going to finish anything like this.
No, yeah, Mora's a guy. He's fought out of submission after submission, though. He's tough to finish.
That's a lot of pressure.
That is in there deep.
That's ugly looking.
That is nasty. That elbow's getting a lot of torque right there.
The problem with this move right here is usually it's put on kind of slow, and the opponent doesn't know the damage it's already done.
And oh wow, the wrist locked up there. That is almost. You got to give Mora credit. That is hard to stay in there after that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, you see the wrestling tattoo.
The USA Wrestling on Scott Barrett's ankle.
Yeah, you're pretty serious when you get that USA Wrestling tattoo.
And it's showing. He hasn't spent but about 20 seconds. Well, here we go with another reversal on the bottom side.
Yeah. Now Will's getting turned immediately, getting turned again. This is the problem with big guys. Big guys with a lot of girth, you see a lot of reversals.
Will Mora is probably thinking that I don't know why he would be standing there in the guard like that with an opportunity to be able to stand back up and put this fight back on his feet. Yeah, coming out of champion Muay Thai, these guys are known for having some pretty stellar stand-up.
Yeah, he likes to throw punches. He's a big guy. It might be in his interest to go ahead and stand up when he gets a chance.
It's tough to win a fight in any position, whether it's a submission match, wrestling match obviously, or a mixed martial arts fight off your back. There's very few guys that can go and pull it off. He's got to be looking to go and stand back up, but Barrett's applying a lot of pressure here.
Yeah, Will's going to have to readjust his game plan.
At the end of the round, we're going to be, it looks like Barrett's conditioning, though, is he's hardly breathing heavy. We'll see what he's got coming into the second round, but if he comes out with that same tenacity, I think it's going to be a long fight for Mora. Mora's had trouble against wrestlers.
Yeah, especially with this Scott's wrestling ability. That's a very high-level wrestling, years and years of competition. That's going to be difficult to overcome.
Will Mora is a guy that's come down, lost a tremendous amount of weight from the weight, size that he used to be. He used to be just a mammoth guy, but you can tell he's really, really focused on dialing in on his training and nutrition, and he's gotten in some pretty solid shape. For a heavyweight, doesn't have too much body fat there.
Yeah, what Will needs to do, he needs to meet him in the middle of the ring. He cannot get trapped in his own corner, get taken down. He's got to meet him in the middle of the ring and try to work some footwork and get a little bit of stand-up, and at least make it difficult to get that takedown. Now, having said that, it's going to be tough. With Scott's explosiveness, power, high-level wrestling, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, Scott's going to be immediately looking to go and take this fight to the ground. I don't imagine in his game plan he has any intention of standing up with Mora. Mora's the guy that has proven knockout power.
Yeah, Will's got to try to meet him in the middle, though. He's got to meet him in the middle.
Will looking to go and sprawl out immediately.
Yeah.
See a pretty solid sprawl attempt. Trying to work.
The initial sprawl was good.
The initial sprawl was good. The readjustment and that reshot by Barrett was able to bring the fight to the ground.
See, that takes years of experience. So if you don't have a wrestling background, it takes so many years of experience to sprawl properly.
There are very few guys, you're right about that can go in there and scramble effectively. And it's one of the things that one of those things that are probably the most hardest thing to develop, in my opinion, is a takedown ability and the scrambling ability. And that's something that really can only be developed after years and years of wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you put in MMA. Because if your timing's off, you could end the fight. You catch a big knee, you could end the fight. So it's a big timing aspect.
Mora already back in the mount position here, defending this with Barrett. Barrett's pace seems to have slowed down a little bit. I think he wants to. He probably knows that he can't carry that tenacious pace that he had in the first round throughout the entire fight. But smart game plan here to be able to go and just work some body shots, work the head.
Keep the weight on him and keep working the body. Now I was surprised. He must be pulling him in the center. That can't be a stand-up. Okay. He's pulling him in the center. Blake again, the best ref in the business.
Yeah, Blake's doing a terrific job here, but that fifth rope definitely does help. We definitely, we talked about it before, but we got our main event fighter coming up tonight, the Frank Millsap. We were able to do a preview with him on Comcast On Demand's Inside Punch. I was able to go and interview Frank, and Frank suffered a bad injury, fell out of the ring, and ended up being, really just immobilized on his, sitting on his butt and on his back for about a solid 11 minutes before he came back in and resumed the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I was there for that fight. Like you said, his 5th rope helps a lot. Right now, Will is in big trouble because he's been carrying this weight for most of the round, and he's also taking abuse, and he's not going to be as fresh. He's trying that reversal. That's against guys as experienced as Scott is on the ground with that wrestling background. His balance, I mean, you can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not going to give that mount position away easy.
Well, what a lot of higher level guys will do is they'll actually want you to try to escape and squash your attack just to frustrate you and wear you out, and then drop big elbows. One of my favorite moves is side mount. Give the guy a little bit of space where he thinks he can escape, pancake him down, break him down mentally, and then you're open for elbows.
What are your thoughts on kind of there's a slight growing trend in guys getting in the mounted position and really stalling out? And getting here just instead of Barrett's obviously active here in this position. Yeah. He's working a lot of shots, but in the mounted position, it's such an advantage that the referee's going to be hesitant to stand it up. But a lot of fighters will sit there and be hesitant to base up and throw any bombs.
Well, the reality is, in a fight, mount's a little overrated. You have to be exceptionally good at it, because if your opponent is any good, as soon as you try something and attempt, he's going to escape. You try an armbar for mount, if you're fighting anybody of any caliber, you're not going to get it. So that's why they have to stall a little bit, unless you just have an unbelievably exceptional mount. Very few guys do. If you study fights, watch the best in the world, write it down with a piece of paper. Most of the time they lose mount, even the best in the world. So you'll notice a lot of guys prefer the side mount. You can deliver a lot more damage, you have a better base.
You hear some boos from the crowd here, almost looking for the stand-up. Even in the mounted position, Barrett's got to be a little bit more active here.
Yeah, because the problem is Scott Barrett goes for anything too hard for mount, he will get reversed again. It's a dangerous position. It's like in wrestling, they teach you never be parallel with your opponent. Right now, they're parallel. Always be perpendicular. What you have to be able to do there, he's unloading now.
I think Scott's got that fire underneath him after hearing the crowd get after him a little bit. He's becoming a little bit more active here. Moore is eating some heavy hands again.
The trick with mount, with the people that are able to use it effective, you got to base up, throw strikes, but you got to be ready to take the back when they spin out. If you don't have good transitions for mount, you don't need to be in mount, because you'll lose it. The guys that are good enough to use it can transition. You got to base up and strike. And
Scott, without a doubt. I mean, and that's exactly what he's doing here. He's using his advantage. Yeah, Moore's ability to escape here is limited against the ropes.
Yeah, absolutely. He must have felt Moore get a little weaker. He felt a little more comfortable. He wanted to ride that weight on him for just a little while, but as soon as he felt him fatigue, he based up and started throwing some punches.
We got 10 seconds left in the round. Scott looking to go and do some more damage. Do you think either of these rounds that we've seen so far could be scored as a 10-8?
That really depends on the judges. I think you have to be close to finishing a fight for 10-8. That's a very controversial subject.
Mora just looks fatigued and beaten. You can see him put his head out on the mat here, and you got to feel for the guy in this situation. He's had bad struggles against wrestlers before, and like I said, that's the hardest thing in the game to develop is that scrambling sprawl ability.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it takes a lot of drills, and the problem is a lot of people don't know how to drill it properly, and it literally takes hundreds of times each drilling session.
You can see some of the damage and swelling starting to come underneath Mora's eyes here. Not bleeding, but you can tell, and look at his eyes too, that he's really struggling coming in here. John Grantham getting Scott Barrett fired up in his corner here. That's you can tell the love. John's got a lot of heart and passion for his fighters and guys he's working with in Gainesville. I mean, sitting there forehead to forehead, that's an incredible thing. There's a brotherhood in this sport like nothing else.
Now we're going to have to see how this plays out, because Will Mora carried Scott's weight that entire round. Now, that's a lot to do, especially when you're getting hit. He probably panicked a little bit. That takes a lot of energy out of you. It's going to make it difficult in the third round, because you're bound to be tired anyway in the third round. You carry somebody's weight an entire 5 minutes.
Mora coming into this though is he's been to the third round plenty, and you got to know that he's still got knockout power left.
Yeah, he's got to really unload, keep his distance, keep his timing.
Scott Barrett,
he's got to look for an uppercut. I'm afraid if he tries a knee, he'll get taken down.
Immediately goes for the takedown, and he's successful.
Yeah.
Diving for that double leg. Mora didn't really put up much of a fight here.
No, he's too tired. It actually takes a lot of energy to sprawl. It takes more energy to shoot, though.
Yeah, consecutive takedowns and working that, in my opinion, is definitely the hardest conditioning aspect of the sport. It's something that, and defending them too is not an easy thing. We've seen a lot of fights before where, the crowd doesn't necessarily know how taxing it is on the guys, but the constant takedown attempts, the clinching against the ropes, it wears on the fighters.
Until you've done it, it's hard to understand, especially with these heavyweights.
Hear the crowd's reaction a little bit. Scott working for an arm triangle here, though, possibly give it up.
Yeah, those are some big arms to triangle choke, though. But no, he definitely contemplated that, and he's probably still going to flirt with the idea a little bit. But he mixes it up with strikes. That's what I like. He doesn't overcommit to any one thing. If Will gives him the triangle, he'll take it. But he's content to keep hitting him until that happens.
I think Scott's doing the definite intelligent thing here by staying in the mount, not really overcommitting and going for a submission. It's more of the position before submission approach to the fighting, which is, as far as coming away with the W, which in the end is all that really matters. That's all that all that you can ask for.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't ask for more from a guy too. Scott's worked the whole fight, fought for mount here. Mora has hung in there, hasn't really given up his back, hasn't really given up too much. He's tried to fight.
Now that's what I talked about before. When they roll through, you have to be prepared to take their back. And that's what Scott did. The last two times that happened, he went ahead and got reversed. But this time he was able to slip back and take his back. Now that it takes a lot of practice as well. It's very difficult.
Scott's got a great opportunity here if he can get the second hook in to be able to go and finish this fight. And I know that there's nothing more he'd like than that.
Now he may right here. He may finish it here. If he can escape to side mount, he needs to jump to the other side. With the fatigue factor, I think he could have finished that arm triangle.
Yeah, Mora was intelligent about it and was able to escape that arm out as soon as he saw Scott going for it. Scott's just pounding away, grinding away. Those short elbows are painful to watch.
Yeah, you can hear it resonate through the mat, the canvas. Those are big elbows. Even though they're short, they have a lot of force, a lot of impact.
Yeah, especially coming from a heavyweight fighter like this. I mean, anytime you got a guy in mount on top of you raining down shots like that, might not be to the crowd here, the most exciting fight in the world, but Scott has put on a clinic as far as of staying in here, working his position, and working those short strikes that have done a substantial amount of damage to Mora's face.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I was hoping to be able to see Will get off a little bit with his stand-up. He likes to put on a good show. We'll sit there and slug it out, but Scott didn't want any part of that.
And that's another thing with the evolution of the sport, though, is you really, can't be, not saying that Moore is a one-dimensional fighter, but he's really struggled against wrestlers. And
well, especially a wrestler of this caliber. It's going to be difficult for anybody to deal with that.
This is the second time in a row that we've seen Moore here fight off his back at Wild Bill's fight night from that mounted position. He's got a lot of heart.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's tough. There's no doubt about that, because he took a lot of shots in the first round, and even though he took the abuse, he was trying to strike back the whole time.
Gone through about 6 straight rounds of being mounted by collegiate wrestlers. Not an easy thing. I mean, this guy's got way more heart than just about anybody in here. I mean, it's a tough thing to be able to go and work those escapes constantly when you got a guy that size trying to fight off. I think both guys here are, really just gonna wait for the end of the fight. Scott might have a little flurry left in him to go and try to finish it. No, he's frustrated by just frankly Mora's toughness and ability to resiliency to stay in here.
Yeah, it's really tough when you give a guy a lot and he takes it. It's difficult. Good escape though. Almost. He didn't have enough energy.
Almost had that.
The technique and the timing was right, but the problem was he didn't have enough energy to finish it.
Barrett in the position to go for that arm triangle here, but only 10 seconds left.
He needs to go for it. He needs to go for it. I think he could have finished it both times, but he would have had to slip through to the other side and lock it up, commit to it.
At the end of the round, though, I mean, nothing to lose. I mean, he's got this fight all but locked up, and looking to take his first win away here.
Yeah, he's definitely locked this up.
It'll be interesting to see what the judges' scorecards are and the decision to go in here and see how many of the judges gave these 10-8 rounds. assuming we go and hear the score.
Yeah, that will be interesting. He clearly won all 3 rounds, but by what margin, though?
Professional bout was scheduled for 3 5